What's up, everybody? I'm Marcus.
I'm Ryan.
And together,
we are the Northwest Sports Fanatics.
Wow, what can I say? What a weekend to kick off the college football season.
Probably the most anticipated and exciting opening weekend all year.
Wow, I'm still watching games on my DVR. So with that being said, we're going to go over the new top 6 teams in the country right now.
Okay.
We probably have a couple of surprises and a couple of not so surprises. So let's kick it off with the number 6 team. We're going to go down to Houston, and the Houston Cougars, they beat the number 3 Oklahoma Sooners in a real tough, entertaining game. But after watching that game, I see Houston, they're going to be a problem this year.
Right. Greg Ward, obviously one of the most exciting new up-and-coming quarterbacks, even though he's been around for a while. He's a senior this year. 23 for 40, 321 yards, 2 touchdowns. But the thing that really impressed me the most was their defense.
Wow.
They really flew around. They were hitting. They almost seemed like a TCU team, a little bit more well-rounded team that we haven't seen, like the Houston Cougars. First win against an AP top 3 since 1984.
Wow.
Texas.
Wow, that's some history for you there. Shout out to Mr. Tar Herman, the head coach down there in Houston. You guys well on your way to spoiling somebody's party this year.
And one last thing, they have a pretty soft schedule, so I would assume they will be in the top 5 in the playoff. The only team that they play is going to be towards the end of the year, November 17th, and the only ranked team left is Louisville.
All right.
So they could be on an undefeated season.
Make sure you circle that on the calendar. The number 5 team, we're going to go with the Michigan Wolverines. They beat the Hawaii Fighting Rainbows 63-3. And Michigan is actually ranked in the top 10 for the first time in 10 years.
Pretty unbelievable for a program that has such history and obviously charisma.
Mm-hmm.
Wilson Spate, 10 for 13, 145 yards, 3 TDs, 1 interception. But they were really led by their freshman running back, Chris Evans. 8 carries, 112 yards, 2 TDs.
Wow. Jim Harbaugh always got something up his sleeve, so I look for Michigan to be in the mix all year long.
Right. And one key thing to remember, the score was 63-3, but they didn't even give up that 3 until the fourth quarter. So their defense is relentless.
All right. Number 14, we're going to go out to the Buckeyes, Ohio State Buckeyes. They won 77-10 over Bowling Green. Mr. T.J. Barrett was kind of the forgotten man last year. He ended up with 6 TD passes, 21 of 31 for 349 yards.
Right. J.T. Barrett.
Right
there, but school record 776 yards. Not bad for losing all those pieces in the first and second round, NFL talent-wise. So it's going to be a showdown. It'll be a real key matchup to see Ohio State or Michigan at the end of the year, because more than likely only one of those teams is going to be in the playoff.
All right, so let's go to the number 3 team, the Florida State Seminoles. Of course, they had probably the most exciting game of this weekend. They beat Ole Miss 45-34, and they started the second redshirt freshman to start at Florida State other than Mr. Jameis Winston, and his name is DeAndre Francois.
So this game was real interesting because they were down 28-6. Close to the end of the first half, right? So it was 28-13. They got a little garbage touchdown there at the end. But by the end of the third quarter, it was 36-28.
Wow.
So they found a way to get some key interceptions to kind of keep them moving. Francois doesn't look as good as a Jameis Winston, but they can grow with him game in and game out. But one key stat to keep an eye on is Roberto Aguayo, right? Second-round kicker that got picked by the Bucks. Pretty much had all the records in college football. Okay. His brother, Ricky Aguayo, right? They have him in the family, right? Went 6 for 6 in field goals, which is huge. Don't ever take that, for granted. And that actually beat the Florida State record for most kicks in one game.
All right, it's in his veins.
Ice water.
So let's go to the number 2 team. We're going to go with the Clemson Tigers. They squeaked out a victory, 19-13 over Auburn. Deshaun Watson, he didn't impress as we expected. He still had a solid game, 248 yards and 1 touchdown.
Right. The key was really Mike Williams. Like from the last video that we had, he had neck injury last year, 9 catches, 174 yards. He was really the key piece. But there was a little bit of a letdown. We expected a little bit more on the offensive side from Deshaun Watson. The D wasn't as good because Auburn isn't really a top 25 team in most people's opinions. But if they really can lean on someone, if Deshaun Watson is going to have a bad game, how about your running back, your stud, Wayne Gallman, right? 30 carries,
wow.
123 yards, only 1 TD rushing. But imagine, if he wasn't in the backfield, there was a good chance they would have lost that game.
And that's what I call a workhorse. And our number 1 team, we're going to go with the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Roll Tide.
You know, they had a victory over USC 52-6. And Jalen Hurts, it's a different QB from your usual Alabama quarterback there with, McElroy and McCurran.
All right, they're used to having a new quarterback implemented each year. I think they've won a championship 3 out of the 4 years. They've implemented a new quarterback. 2 touchdowns passing, 2 rushing. The main story is really their defense. USC is supposed to be contending for one of the better teams in the Pac-12, and they could only afford to get 6 points on that Bama D. So best D in football, most impressive, the most intimidating. They look hands down, leaps and bounds better than anyone else in this top 6. And one key stat to remember, they lost 4 players on D in the first and second round in this last NFL draft, and they're still that deep in creating plays and obviously getting turnovers. Watch for them to be in the Natty this year.
Well, there you have it. The top 6 teams this week. We'll be back at you guys real soon with a new video. Get you guys ready for this upcoming weekend of football.
Right.
NFL will be starting on Thursday. I'm pretty sure we'll be back with a video for you by then. And I only got one question for you. Who talks sports like us?
Northwest Sports Fanatics.